talk about Cheltenham first up then, Mark. Much like yourselves, really, they've adapted well to being back in League One.
Yeah, they're in a really good run of form, actually. They had a tough run of games a few weeks back where they maybe had one or two injuries and played a lot of the top teams, like the run we've just had. But recently, they've taken a couple of brilliant results, and Michael Duff's done a brilliant job there. We know that. Manager of the Year last year, league winners last year, and have continued the momentum into this year. His record over his 3 or 4 years there is exceptional. And they had a bit of a strange result at the weekend for them. They don't normally find themselves as a team that concedes so many goals at Wimbledon in the Cup. But the Cup can throw up some strange days. And no doubt they'll be back to their more normal selves tomorrow. So I think we know what a tough game it is because they were last year. And their form their form in the league at the minute is right up there with many others. And their home form's excellent. So we know it's a tough game for us. But looking forward to getting back into league action. I've had a nice break from the league with a couple of good cup games last week.
Yeah, I don't know whether this was an impact at the weekend with the Wimbledon game, but we've spoken about a number of sides where the busy schedule and everything that happened last year as well seems to have taken its toll on players with injuries. And Cheltenham, we know from seeing them last season and over recent seasons, generally like to play with a back three, but they've had so many injuries, they've had to change things around.
Yeah, a little bit, I think, through design and a little bit through being forced in that way. But they have certainly played many different ways this year, and they're playing some good football as well. And they've flicked between the back three, back four, and the shapes in front of that have changed as well. They've used a lot of systems this year, and they've changed shape a lot of times in game as well. So whilst I think we've got an idea of the kind of style they'll play and some of the individuals, we don't know in terms of the system that they're going to play, and we know whatever they start with, there's a good chance they won't finish that way. So we'll have to have a bit of flexibility about us in the game tomorrow night. But it'll be a good challenge for us, and it's the start of a brilliant week of away games for us.
Does it change the mindset very much that you've had a run of games of sides very much in the promotion mix, and it's a different sort of challenge with Cheltenham on Tuesday night? Does it change very much, or is the preparation roughly the same? Do you just go at it in the same way?
Similar. And in terms of the mental side of that, or the mindset, I don't really think so. I think what we know is every game's a tough game for us. We know that there's a real challenge in every game that we play, and there's some top teams. So we've played some of the maybe more fashionable, bigger teams in recent weeks, but there's no doubt Cheltenham are a strong team and a good team at this level. They've shown that we can, like us, can compete at this level, can take points off of everybody, and we know we'll have to be really good to take something from the game tomorrow.
Looking at the team news, with Conor Masterson and Jibril Okadina at the weekend switched around, is that just a case of horses for courses at the moment, whoever best suits the particular game?
Literally, last week was about trying to play everyone once, and we managed to do it. So to come out of the week with 2 wins in the next round of both cup competitions, every player in the squad contributing to one of the games, some obviously in over 2, but even with Sam Smith, James Brophy, Connor and Jibril, I think the only player that started both games is Jack. So we had in mind all of last week, let's get to Cheltenham with everybody fit and available, which is the case. So we're delighted that we've done that, but we've done that with 2 wins as well. So sets us up nicely for this week.
Yeah, all about striking that balance. With Lloyd Jones, is he continuing to progress okay?
Yeah, no real news on him at the moment. It's taking longer than anybody thought. He's frustrated, so he's not available at the moment.
Yeah. And let's just talk about the players that you let out on loan was announced at the weekend. Just give us an insight into the thinking behind that and why you've done what you've done, really.
Yeah, I think we've said for a while that we're going to be lining up those boys to go out, and off the back of the Papa John's game, it's a perfect opportunity really for them to go and get a run of games, which they all need. I'm really keen over Christmas and New Year that the young pros play and they're not sat at home doing nothing. It's a key time of the year where you learn how to put yourselves together and that professionalism around being ready for games. So they all need games. Of course, it leaves us a little bit light in terms of numbers, but we have to strike a balance between having players in the building, but having young players that play. We have to remember that young professionals didn't play football last year, and that you just can't get better if you're not developing by playing regularly in those games. So Liam Bennett went to Peterborough and man of the match performance on Saturday. Excellent performance. Mamadou's tested himself at a level that we think he's capable of playing, was outstanding at the weekend. Lewis Simper scored and was man of the match for Concord. So we're really pleased with all three of those games at the weekend. But more importantly, what the next month brings for them is a real run of games where they'll play 5 or 6 times, all being well, which is what they all need now for that little next stage of their development. And then when that month's up, we'll see what to do with them next.
Yeah, is it just a case of you then get to the start of January and you can review the whole big picture, if you like?
Yeah, I mean, they'll all stay out on loan, I'm sure, unless we've got a crisis on our hands. We expect them to spend the majority of the second half of the season out on loan. It's just whether or not, A, they're playing and they've had some success where they are, or something higher up the pyramid becomes available. But the most important thing for us is that they are playing regularly. Off the number of games that they've played in the last 18 months, they all need a run of games. So it'll be great for them.
With the FA Cup draw this evening, have you got any particular thoughts on that? Any particular hopes?
Being honest, no, I haven't thought about that since we finished playing on Saturday. So the only thought for me is Cheltenham and then Charlton. That game's quite a long way off now. Money, the one that brings the biggest money. That's why we're in this competition at this level. Money and memories. So if we can get a tie that brings in money and creates memories for supporters and players, then that's the main reason we're in it. We all know what it's about. So yeah, the bigger tie we can get in that sense, the better. Yeah,
the classic big away day. And with the Youth Cup, the under-18s back in action on Wednesday against Oxford. Obviously another League One side at senior level, so it should be a good test.
Yeah, it'd be good. Looking forward to that one. We saw the first round, so looking forward to seeing how they compete against Oxford, another strong Category 3 club actually, like ourselves. So I think it'll be a really good match, a really even one, and hopefully, despite the number of home games that we've had, people can roll out on Wednesday and watch the game, because as you've seen, a couple of those players in and around first team games at different times, but we think we've got some really talented boys in there. So Youth Cup's a great competition for them to play in stadiums and in front of crowds, and hopefully it's one that they can go and perform really well in. But we wish them well, and I look forward to seeing it.
Cool, that's great for me.
Well, firstly on Lloyd Jones, how much longer do you expect him to be out for? Because it seems like we're going game to game at the minute and he's just not available. Is there any timescale you can give?
No, there isn't. We don't know. He's making progress and then a little bit stop-start, but he's not training yet, so we can't put a time frame on it.
Right. Okay. In terms of the games coming up as well, you've come out of a really tough run of games, but it doesn't seem to get any easier at the minute. What do you make of the games that you've got coming up? You've got some promotion contenders in there too, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, there's about 12 promotion contenders in this league, so that in itself tells its own story. You look at the games, you go, Cheltenham's home form's excellent. They're in a really good run of form. Charlton are on fire at the moment and doing really well. Rotherham, Wickham, Portsmouth. There's a lot of games coming up that are playing top teams, but that's the league. That is the level. So yeah, it's never going to be easy. There's going to be no point at this season where we say there's a nice, comfortable run of games coming. It just isn't going to be. What we have to make sure is we're a match for everybody, and they don't see Cambridge as an easy game. That's as simple as it is. And we've got to take as many points from these runs as we can. Starting tomorrow night, we've got to try and take something from the game and be as competitive as we can. This is game 9th Tuesday on the bounce. So the fact that we haven't got a replay the following Tuesday is a godsend, because we get a couple of days off after the Charlton game. But we've got to go all guns blazing, every bit of energy and intensity that we got into these next 2 games.
Have you had to think about your plans for the January transfer window yet?
Yeah, we think about it all the time, talk about it all the time. So that work's underway, and obviously if we can add to the squad and make ourselves stronger, that's what we'll try and do.
Can you give any further indication of what you'd look to do in January?
Absolutely not. Sorry.
No worries. Just finally, have you had a chance to speak to Leon Davies yet about his contract situation?
No, I've spoken to him before he went on loan last week about going and playing a good month of games there, which is really important for him, and he assisted a goal at the weekend, which is great. And if he can get a run of games as well, like the other boys, really, it's exactly what he needs. And then obviously as that time passes, we'll sit down and have that conversation at the right time.
Cheers, Mark.